Okay, first problem in this, and again, this is all it is now is review. You need to go down here. You can't really see because that's stupid black thing, but you need to put feet equals down there. That should be down there. So this is the first problem. There's 3 problems in this video that will be talked about. It says a patio has an area of 12 by 15 feet. I want to add the same amount of area to all sides. How many feet wide does the new build-on addition have to be? Okay, the new area is 270 feet. So I've organized the work for you. You're not going to solve the equation until you get down here. Okay, and I didn't leave you very much room down there, so I apologize for that. Here's what you do in the first one. Okay, you want to measure the area and mark where the middle begins and ends, and we have 15 here, and we don't know how wide that is across there. And that's the same thing with the other dimension, is we have 12 and then x and x. Okay, so you got to remember that they're talking about area, okay? And the area of a rectangle is the length times our width. So our length is 2 x's and a 15, so that would be 2x plus 15. Our width is 2 x's and a 12, so that one would be 2x plus 12, okay? So you go in that first box right there, and you're going to write that out. Now you need to multiply it and use this for your workspace. So you take 2x times 2x, and then you go back to the 2x and take 2x times 12, and then forget about that one, and then 15 times 2x, and 15 times 12. Okay. So figure out what these products equal. So again, 1, 1, 1, 1, and nothing on the 15 or the 12 right there. Okay, so we good there. Now it's just a matter of finding the products. 2 times 2 is 4, and then we add the first powers together, and that's a second. 2 times 12 is 24, x to the 1. 15 times 2 is 30, x to the 1. And then 15 times 12 gives me 180. Okay? So now go back into the first square and just line up your blanks. Blank x second plus blank x plus blank. And we have 4 for x to the second. For x's, we have 24. We have these two. 24 plus 30 is 54. And then constants, you have your 180. Okay, so remember, that is equal to the area, because that's what length times width equals. So equals A. Now bring it down here. So now you take your 4x to the second plus your 54x plus your 180. But instead of equals A, we have the area, and the area is 270. Okay? Now I go into the process of solving my equation. Okay? How many answers? There are 2. Okay? So again, when you solve that, you want to know how many answers the equation has. It's 2. Now you got to have this set equal to 0, and right now it's not. So I need to set this myself. So I've got blank x to the second plus blank x plus blank equals 0. So what do you have for x to the second? So you have 4. What do you have for x? You've got 54. Now, these two numbers are also there, but they're on the same side, okay? They're on opposite sides, so don't just add them. You need to take this 270 minus it, and now you have 0 just like you're supposed to have, and then you minus the 270 from 180, okay? Negative 90. Okay? Now we're set equal to 0. Now there are 3 terms, so I'm going with the GCF and then the table. Give yourself plenty of room. Just hope the table doesn't go on forever. Okay, so our greatest common factor, check the first number. Is it negative? Nope, 4 is not negative. Do all 3 terms have x? Well, we got x second, and we have x to the first, but 90 doesn't have an x, so we're not going to do an x here, here, or under any of the lines. Now, GCF calculate the numbers. You're calculating 4, 54, and 90. Don't put what you think it is. You need to be precise here. Okay, it's 2. So I factor out a 2 without an x. So 4 divided by 2 is 2 with x to the second. Positive 54 divided by 2 is going to be 27, so plus 27 with x to the first. And then negative 45. That's just that. Now here's my A, here's my B, here's the C. Now remember when you get down here, A is now 2x to the second. Okay, that's what you'll put in front of your x's. So I connect my A to my C, 2 times negative 45, the AC method. So you got 90, which is negative. Story problems are always negative, so it means we're always minusing to find our middle, which is 27, and that's positive. 1 and 90, nope. 90 divided by 2, 45. 45 minus 2 isn't 27. Okay, I got 3 and 30. I think if you take 30 minus 3, you get 27. Good, so those are the two we're rolling with. My 27's positive, means my 30 has to be positive, and that negative up there means the signs have to be the opposite. Okay, because a negative times a positive is a negative. Now your A against 2x to the second, so you want to start with 2's in front of your x's here. And then your minus 3 and plus 30. Okay, now figure out the GCFs on those. So 2 and 3. The GCF is 1, so that means I divide by 1, and that will stay 2x minus 3. Okay, 2 and 30. The GCF is 2. So now that becomes 1x plus 15. And don't forget, we had a GCF up there of 2. Okay. So again, I put dots between them. Remember, the 2 doesn't have an x, okay? So when I put an F label, it's just here and here, okay? So go outside the box and just set them equal to 0. 2x minus 3 equals 0. 1x plus 15 equals 0. So now dot your x's and circle them. So you plus 3. 0 plus 3 is 3, so 2 times x equals 3, and then we divide 3 by 2. Now it's okay to get a decimal at the end of the problem. Okay, 1.5. And then I take away 15. 0 minus 15 is negative 15. Then divide by 1, you're still at negative 15. Now, 1.5 is your higher answer because it is positive. Okay, so 1.5 is the answer I put. Okay, so that'll be set up for you. First, you're going to multiply it out, then set it equal to the area, then you set it and go to your boxes. Okay, second of the 3 problems. A soccer goalie throws a ball in the air at an initial height of 8 feet and an initial velocity of 28 feet per second. How many seconds does it hit the ground? So use this for your work, okay? You have feet and seconds as your 2 units. Okay, now X is my time unit, so that's, and it always is, and Y is feet. So per second, and it's feet per second. And I can obviously see that my feet per second is 28. Okay. Now, gravity pulls this back towards the ground. It is a parabola. Okay, you don't need to memorize that word, but on parabolas you need to mark how many feet you started at. So I see 8 feet. And at this point, I don't see any other feet, so I'm assuming we ended at 0 feet. Okay, now line up your equation. You don't have to do all the multiplying out on this, so it makes it a little bit quicker than that rectangle problem I just did. Okay, so you got to understand that gravity is always negative 16 x to the second. So we put negative 16 in front of the x to the second. The feet per second, 28, goes here. And then our beginning height, 8 feet, goes here. And then this 0 feet takes the place of the y. Feet is y, so I just replace the y with 0. Now I can go into my equation solving. So how many answers does the equation have? It has 2. Set it equal to 0, which it is. It's set. Now how many terms do you have? Looks to me like you have 3 again. So GCF and T. Make that table as big as you can. So check the first number. Is it negative? Yeah, the first number in the equation is negative, so I want to put negative. Do all 3 terms have x? Well, we got x to the second, we have x to the first, and 8 doesn't have an x, so I can't put an x here, here, or anywhere underneath. And now GCF calculate the numbers 16, 28, and 8. Okay, I got 4. Okay. So we factor out negative 4. So now I go divide all these by negative 4. So that's positive 4 with x to the second, because that divides positive 4. 28 divided by negative 4 is negative 7, so minus 7, x to the 1. And positive 8 divided by negative 4 is negative 2, so minus 2. So ABC, and remember, connect the A to the C, and down here put that your A is 4x to the second, so you don't get that confused later. Okay, so 4 multiplied by negative 2 is negative 8. So you got 8 negative, so it's another minus, and you're trying to minus to get to your 7, which is 1 and 8. 8 minus 1 is 7, so right away I have it. So my 7's minus makes my 8 minus. And up here we have a negative product, so the signs are opposite. Okay, now when I make my parentheses, I go 4x, 4x, and then plus 1 minus 8. Now, again, when you punch these in, it's going to be 1, so you divide by 1, it stays the same. And then my 4 and my 8, I get 4 as my GCF. So divide by 4, and that's 1x minus 2. Now, again, you did have a GCF, so you're going to pull that down. And remember, that doesn't have an x, so I don't care about that as a factor. I care about these two, okay? So 4x plus 1 could equal 0, or my 1x minus 2 could equal 0. So dot and circle, minus 1, 0 take away 1 would give you a negative 1. And then divide by 4. So negative 1 divided by 4 is negative 0.25. And then in the other one, I plus 2. 0 plus 2 is 2. Then divide by 1, and 2 divided by 1 is 2. Okay, now 2 is the higher answer because it's positive. When you have a positive and negative, the positive is always your greater answer. So 2 seconds. Okay, and then the last one. A bouncy ball is bounced off the ground with an initial velocity of 64 feet per second. After how many seconds does the ball hit the ground? So again, it's kind of the same concept as the last one. You got feet and seconds. So x is seconds, y is feet. So per feet per second. Okay, so the feet per second, we have 64. Cross that out then. Okay, again, it's gravity. It goes up, but it comes down. Okay. Now, I don't have any other numbers, so it started at 0 then, and it ended at 0. Okay. So I line up my blanks, same as before. Okay, so remember, what's pulling it back down? Gravity is. Gravity is negative 16x to the second power. Okay, then 64 feet per second, that's your x. And you started at 0, so when I put 0 in a blank, I need to delete that, okay? And then I put the 0 feet, this goes in for your y variable. Okay, and now I can solve the equation. Now, how many answers does it have? Well, 2 again, because you got to the second. Sorry about that black space. Just put it right there. But how many terms does this one have? 1, 2. So there's 2. So it's GCF DOPS instead of the table. Okay, so there will be no ABC. Okay, you got to get that out of your head. Okay, so the GCFs is the same rules as before. Check the first number, is it negative? Yes, it is. So we got to have a negative here and here. Do both terms have the x variable? Yeah, x to the second and x. So we're going to put x there. We're actually going to put that we have x to the second here and we have x to the first here. So both terms do have x, so I need to bring x to the first out too. And then GCF calculate the numbers 16 and 64. Okay, I came up with 16. So negative 16x to the first. So negative 16x to the first. So now go divide. And negative 16 divided by negative 16 is 1. 2 minus 1 is 1, so I still have x to the first. And then I take positive 64 divided by negative 16, I get negative 4. So that will be minus 4, and those first powers, since they're the same, can go away. Now your DOPS. Do you have x to the second? Remember, you're not looking here. You're looking at this parentheses here. And you do not have x to the second, so you make that an NP. Not possible. So we're done in the boxes. So my F1's here, my F2's here. Get rid of those first powers and just set each factor equal to 0. So negative 16x could equal 0, or 1x minus 4 could equal 0. So again, dot your variables. Here you go straight to your dividing. So 0 divided by negative 16, check it on your calculator if you forget that little rule, it's 0. And then I plus 4, 1 times x equals 4, divided by 1, and 4 divided by 1 is 4. Okay, so 4 is the higher answer, so that's the one I roll with.